Good morning, everyone. We are live right now. I'm here with Nicki. We're doing a read along, but before we start and we get into that, some of you might have noticed that I completely went dark on YouTube. I'm here with Nicki. Oh, sorry. But before we start and we get, can you tell I haven't done this in a while? I forgot to turn off my sound on the YouTubes. I've been gone from YouTube for the past, well, all this year mostly, with the exception of a couple of videos that were pre-filmed, which is awesome. I'll try to slowly come back. I still owe you winners for a giveaway I did last year. It's lovely. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to get into the details. It's been. Let's just go with that. I will talk about consequences. I've been so stressed out and so anxious. I haven't slept properly in 2 weeks. And before that, I was so stressed and anxious that I was at that point dropping like 2 kilos, 1 kilo in 2 days, which is not healthy, by the way, especially if that happens because you don't eat. So I'm dealing with it. I'm slowly recovering. I'm dealing with everything I can. The stress is real, though, and I've never had such a severe case of anxiety. So I'm trying to do everything I can and not put too much pressure on myself on top of that because of reasons. That's why I've been gone. I'll try to either film a video, or if that doesn't work out, I'm going to do a live stream and explain everything and what the plan is for the future. The only thing I've been doing was the art streams here and there because that's low maintenance. I'm still in my pajamas, if you didn't notice. Yesterday's excuse was I didn't even give an excuse. Today's excuse is that it feels comfortable.
Well, if you hadn't told us, Alina, I wouldn't have actually said, "Oh, she's wearing pajamas." Like it just looks like a top.
It's fine. I'm all open. So it's 8:30 for me. Around there, I haven't walked the dog yet. I'll do it post stream because it's just cold and it looks dreary, and I just don't want to be outside. And another small thing before we begin, hope you're all staying safe. Wash your damn hands and stay inside if you don't need to go outside. Avoid people. If you're an introvert, that's great for you. If you're not an introvert, video chat exists. So, yes. For now, things are not panicky where I am. We're going to go into a state of emergency situation starting tomorrow morning, but other than that, we're okay. So I hope you and yours are safe and try to keep them safe. I know there's a lot of people being I'm trying not to say bad things about people, but some people are idiots, and that includes our president, who like a few days ago was saying it's nothing but a cold. It's not just a cold, so stay safe, please. And yeah, that's it. Public safety announcement over. Let's get back to books, which we'll need if we stay inside, because you can read and binge watch TV series. What's the problem with that? I don't get it. Okay, Nicki, can you please introduce yourself after my long ramble?
So for those who don't know me, my name is Nicki, and I'm an author and editor and post videos here on YouTube about writing, editing, reading, and all the other things I love. I'm in Adelaide, it's 5 p.m. here, and Australia, we've got a little bit going on with the coronavirus, but not particularly bad where I am at the moment. So mainly it's just the toilet roll purchasing issue that we're having. But that's it. Otherwise, we're all good at the moment. So on that note, we should talk about our book, which we're doing historical fiction for this month's read along. And we picked The Miniaturist by Jesse Burton. So do you want me to do the intro to the story, or do you want to do it, Alina?
Then I have to make more excuses.
Just very briefly, in this story, it's set in Amsterdam in the sort of peak tulip era, if you like. We'll call it the golden era of Amsterdam. Nella is 18 years old, and she is born in the country, but she marries Johannes Brandt and goes to live with him in Amsterdam. She arrives to find his sister kind of lording over the house. and her husband, who treats her more like a friend than a wife. He does give her a doll's house as the wedding gift, and it's a replica of their own home. And she employs a miniaturist to make furniture and figures to fill the doll's house. However, things take a bit of a turn when the miniaturist seems to understand more about what's going on in her household than she does. So there's a little bit of a mystery element that comes in there, which I think is all I can really say without spoilering.
Yeah, that's about it. Like anything else you say after that is just going to spoil things.
Yep. I mean, we may touch on a few things during our talk, but we'll try to give you a bit of a warning if we're going to spoiler too much.
Yeah, I think we should just get into the wording now. There will be spoilers because it's impossible to talk about anything in this book without spoiling. Now, on to Alida making more excuses. So I knew about this book since, what, January?
I think so.
And for some reason, it didn't click. Like the title of the book didn't click. The premise of the book didn't click with me. And then I started reading it in early February. For once, I was early. And then I got the audiobook this time. So about 20 minutes into the book, I listened to double speed, by the way. So that would be close to like 40 minutes, really. I messaged Nicki and I thought, is this the book that was like the TV series or movie or whatever with worrying issues in it? And she was like, yes. And I'm like, oh my God, I've seen that. I don't know if I can read this book because, I mean, it's a great story, but my state of mind right now is so poor. I don't think this is a good idea. And Nicki said, okay, we can talk from the TV show and book perspective, and you just try your best. And I did. I got to the 1 hour mark, not in the book, in my listening time. So about 2 hours of listening time. And I had to stop because I knew how things were going to end. And it just made me want to cry. So for once, I did not complete the book before we started the conversation. I do know the story. Obviously, like I said, I watched it religiously and cried my eyes out. It was fun, a great experience. Totally recommend. I do know what the main differences between the book and the movie are because there was a lot of talk about it. The author was quite involved in the movie making process. The writer for the movie involved her because he wanted to make some changes and explain things and whatever, and he needed her input. So that's where we are. I apologize, but people, take care of yourself first. If you can't do something, just don't. And this is what we decided to do, just continue the conversation. And once things settle down on my end, I'll go back to the book and read it. Like I said, I haven't been doing all that great. So making things worse for myself is not a great idea right now. But this is a great story, and I still think we should talk about it. And you all should read the book. Just get tissues. It's fine. Nobody's buying tissues. They're just buying toilet paper.
Oh, no, we're out of tissues too here.
Oh, my God.
And paper towel, hand sanitizer, antiseptic wipes, tissues, toilet paper, paper towels are our big ones, plus a little bit of rice and pasta kind of stuff, but mostly it's paper-related products.
Okay. How about like the baby wipes?
I haven't looked, I have to say, but probably since the antiseptic wipes are out, probably people are getting those instead.
Okay. We're still doing okay. I don't think we still have antiseptic. There's not, like, you don't get it in big bottles here. You just have the small bottles where you check out. So that's great. But I think we stocked on alcohol products to kill the virus. It's fine. Like I said, some canned foods, flour for some reason, cooking oil. And there was an issue with toilet paper as well. It reached us fast. I think people realized that everyone was getting toilet paper and maybe we should get it too. But I had like a bit of a chuckle because when the toilet paper war was going on, there was a sale on my local grocery store for toilet paper, and even that wasn't cleared out. And it was like really nice paper, like 3-ply, smelling of peaches, really low price, and it was there in piles. And then days later, everyone went crazy because we can't help ourselves. If someone's doing something, we have to do it too. So
it's the
it's
sheeple
fine.
effect.
Yep. That said, I always buy toilet paper in bulk, but usually for a week. Like this. Wow. Anyway, yes. So I don't know. Handkerchiefs, those still exist, and you can wash them in your washing machine. I think that's the most disgusting thing ever in the world, but you know, that's a possibility. Like, tissue paper was the biggest, like, the paper napkins, everything. That's the biggest invention since sliced bread, because washing handkerchiefs is the most disgusting thing I ever heard. I'm sorry. This conversation is going great. If you're wondering why we're more rambly than usual, it's because I took a long break, and I have to rein in my impulse to go off track. No, I lost my skills, but we're getting there. So back to the book. What did you think about the book overall, other than it being too sad for me to read?
I think for me, I enjoyed the sort of magical realism elements of the story that came in through the miniaturist's involvement. I thought that the book, and I'll talk about the TV series a bit later, but in terms of the book, I thought the atmosphere and the sense of setting that came through in the writing was really good. I did kind of feel there was part of me that wanted a POV for Johannes at times. I kind of felt I almost kind of want a book from his perspective, because I wanted to know what he was thinking and how he was feeling about things, and we only see him through Nella's eyes, really. So I kind
of colored anyway, and because we're talking about her POV, I'm just going to interrupt you really quickly and say that was a big difference for me when I started reading. I think that's why it took a while for me to catch on, because she comes off as a completely different character. She's more naive in the movie and the TV series, and I think that's way fitting, because I know the author got a lot of criticism for the way she
she does come across as a little bit modern thinking, I think, in the book,
and very savvy, which 17-year-old
from the country
probably wasn't the case. I understand she would be naive and open, that makes sense, but she comes off very differently in the book, and I'm like, it was hard to get into it, like losing myself and believing this character could think and talk like that. For a while.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I think that for me, I did finish the book with the sense that I still had more questions, that I kind of didn't really have a firm answer for what had been real and what she'd been imagining, which perhaps was the author's intention. But that was the only thing that made it a little bit less than 100% satisfactory for me, that I kind of wanted something a bit more conclusive in terms of the miniaturist at the end. Pardon?
She was her debut, the book.
This is a debut, yes. It was her first book,
Because we're talking about intention here, and we wouldn't know normally, but this time I think we can infer, because she was quite open to all the suggestions the TV script guy made, and I know some of them were because he wanted some things explained, because it felt kind of unsatisfying. So it's one of those situations where I don't think I can say one is better than the other, but in terms of tone, a bit of character development, and a more satisfying resolution to certain questions, I think it would help to watch the TV miniseries as well. I mean, it's not as clear cut as, the Vampire Diaries, where I gave up on the second book because it was boring and annoying. And I mean, I gave up on the TV series as well in later seasons because it was like, oh my freaking god, like, can we stop now? It's getting ridiculous. How many times can the same character go evil all of a sudden? And it was ridiculous. So yeah, that's my take on it. It would help to watch the miniseries afterwards.
Yeah.
But I think the book has its merit in terms of setting and
yes,
social interactions and just the feel of the era. Even if I think the author wanted her young female protagonist to be the POV character, but I don't think that was the best choice. Because that's why she sounds so modern and savvy, because she seems to know way more about her society than she should. And that's why I agree with you. His point of view would have been much better because he's older, he's seen the world, he's experienced a lot of things, and that sort of perspective would have made more sense for him.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least. Which is not like, it's just an opinion. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I have to keep restating things as if people don't know me and haven't heard me being opinionated before. This is why I don't take breaks, people. Let's talk about the mystery part. Because I think that was interesting. I have to say I'm a bit biased here because I really love the type of mystery where you don't know if there's something going on or the character is going nuts. I love that.
Yeah.
I may have written that a time or two. One of the stories is still out there. The other one I never republished. But I really like that sense of foreboding mixed with mystery and this feeling that something's off, but you don't know if external or internal. And I found that fascinating. That's a great choice.
Yeah, I think it almost borrows a few kind of semi-gothic aspects as well. And I thought that came across even more in the TV show with the sort of style in which it was shot.
Yes.
But it's there in the book as well. But I think they kind of really played that up a bit in the TV version.
Yes, because you get to see things and how creepy they are. Because the dollhouse is intended as a lovely gift, but then when the miniatures start to appear, it's so creepy and eerie and nice. I liked it. But I think it's one of those elements where the visual aspect is very important.
Yes.
It's way more impactful than describing the dollhouse. I mean, I guess you can understand how it is through the perspective of the character, but it's, the TV miniseries helped. I have to say that.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about the bird, the poor abused bird.
That was the bird free.
That was the one moment. No, but it was like when she first arrived and they took the bird away from her.
Shoved it in the kitchen, and
that's the moment where I would have been. You don't want my bird. You don't want me. I'm going home. Fuck you. Like,
you just wait till you give them all diseases from the bird pooping in the kitchen where they're doing all the cooking and things.
Yeah, but I have to eat that food, so. No, it's like because I have virus, and if someone would say, I mean, okay, the dog can stay outside, but trapping him somewhere where it was physically harmful for him, no, I would have taken my dog and left. That pissed me off. So warning here, if you're a pet owner, that will probably annoy you. But I think it's a good establishing shot to show where Nella is at. in the beginning, and it's a good progression from there to where she ends up at the end
where
of
she
the
begins
book.
to take a bit more control for herself.
Yes. Also, I think the movie kind of, I'm in two minds about this, and that is the mystery and how it was treated in the book, because there's a certain encounter in the movie that doesn't happen in the book, and I think that's the one thing I wouldn't have done. I understand all the other choices the writer made, but that one took away from that a bit where I said you don't exactly know what's going on.
Yes. Yeah.
On the other hand, I do understand it. It's better to be clear about these things, because otherwise people will still question it years after. And truly open endings, like, even if it's not for the entire story, but just for an aspect of it, people don't like them, I guess. Or most people don't. So it makes sense in the TV series, but I think it took something away from the mystery overall. And we won't tell you what it is. Just read the book and you'll figure out what happens in the movie and doesn't happen in the book, other than all the visual aspects. And let's talk about the sugar. Do you want to talk about the sugar? Because I'm hungry now. Oh, God. Never mind. So there's this whole thing with sugar in the book, in terms of Johannes having shit tons of it, and refusing to sell it for some reason.
But it's going moldy, which is a big metaphor, readers. It's not a subtle one, I have to say.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, but it's a good one.
It works well, yeah.
It works well. You know why? Because it's something that belongs to the family, but affects everyone.
Yeah.
And it was a smart choice. It's not, I mean, I don't think the author wanted it to be hard to decipher. I don't think that was the point. I think it was more about emphasizing the scope of it, that it's not just this family drama that's self-contained.
Yeah.
That it impacts everyone and could potentially impact everyone, which is nice choice. Nicely done. But yeah, it's not the most subtle of metaphors. And that's the point. Like, sometimes I don't think metaphors should be that subtle. Like, if you need a roadmap to figure out a metaphor, I mean, that could be fun, but you're more likely to have a lot of people missing out a lot of details.
Yeah.
Which I think this boils down to modern writing versus the classics, because let's face it, in the past we owned less books. It was harder to acquire them. They were more expensive, fewer printed, less available. So the cases where you reread the same book were way more often happening than now. So it's the same as movies. Like, you can watch a Kubrick movie like 5 times and discover new things. And you'll do that because it's a classic, but nobody's going to watch newer movies 5 million times to figure out all their intricacies. You just won't. Because there's a million other things they could do with their time, and the competition is higher now. Should you have smart and, tongue-in-cheek elements in your book? Sure. But sometimes a nicely chosen, easily digestible metaphor will help as well, which is great. Like, just putting that out there. We don't always want to outsmart our reader, and especially in a mystery, because this is a historical mystery in parts. There are enough clues to puzzle together in a mystery, you can go lighter on other aspects. Which I think
even so, I mean, I think this book still, well, we're talking about sort of metaphors, maybe we'll move on to themes, because there's quite a lot of different themes explored in the story. Obviously, race with the inclusion of Otto as one of the servants, gender, class, position, and obviously sexuality being a big one on several points in the book. So although it's in some ways it's concentrating on that historical mystery, there's still quite a lot going on in the background as well in all these issues. I
feel like the mystery is almost like, it's a well done mystery, don't get me wrong, but it's almost an excuse to discover all these intricacies and themes, which works well. I think it's a nice device to use to direct readers' attention in all these directions, which otherwise would have been way more complicated. Because if it wasn't for the dollhouse, Nella wouldn't have pieced together a lot of things that fast. So nice choice. I like that. But I mean, it's very interesting how the themes are discussed, because they're taken quite seriously and at the same time not. As in, you see them as part of the society and this is how things are, and you realize they're wrong because of other things going on. It's not the people's perception of them, not the majority perception at least. It's just the personal tragedies that show you these things are as they should be. And I love that. I love that because it makes sense in a historical context. I think we've had this conversation when we were talking about historical fiction in general. I hate it when people's reaction don't fit the era. Because if you want to write that, write a contemporary, it's fine. But in a historical settings, most people would not believe these things need to change. It's the individual who suffers through them that will know things aren't as they should be, and that things are not fair and they're not just. And I think the story did a good job of that. Pointing out it's wrong and having people within that community know it's wrong without bashing you over the head with it.
I did quite like Nella's reaction to what she discovered about Johannes. I thought that felt quite period appropriate and realistic, and yet you see her sort of not changing her mind but understanding him as the story progressed. And sort of getting compassion for him by the end.
It was a very realistic approach. And towards the end, you realize she's, to the core, she's a good person who's trying to help out. And that's her only purpose when it comes to him. And she sees their marriage as a partnership. And even if it's not what she imagined it would be, she's in for the long haul, so she would have protected him forever, which I found quite touching and endearing. And one of the reasons I decided not to reread the whole story, because I just couldn't go through that anymore. Because it's like, you know, when you don't know what the difference is between the book and the movie are, you can just watch the movie and read the book, or do it the other way around and hope for a different outcome. No, there's no different outcome. It makes it kind of hard. Plus, it's even more disappointing when you refuse to accept things for what they are and read the book hoping it ends differently than the movie, and it doesn't. I may have done that with the first Game of Thrones book. I don't know why. Like all data pointed in the other direction, but I just was like, no. Let's just, maybe it ends better this time. Right? No. Spoiler alert! The first season of Game of Thrones was very close to the book. Later on, they went off the rails. So yeah. But I don't know. It's a very touching story, and I appreciate that for the reason I said before, because it's very entrenched in the period it's supposed to be happening in, with the exception of Nehla's perception and point of view, which is way too mature and modern for her. For her, not necessarily for women in that period. I'm sure there were women who thought exactly like her, but I'm pretty sure they had a lot more experience than a 17-year-old who grew up in the countryside, exposed to virtually nothing. And I think her perception of her marriage is what contradicts her point of view so badly. It's because she comes with this idealistic perspective of what her life is going to be once she comes to Amsterdam. Also, so weird. Like, how don't you figure out something's wrong when your husband doesn't come pick you up? You have to travel on your own. Like, clearly, I mean, he's busy and all, but clearly something's off. Like,
doesn't even send the servant to meet her or something.
Yes. I mean, they didn't have a lot of servants, which, whatever. But the problem is not that she didn't figure it out, is that she didn't figure this out, and she still has this weirdly mature and modern perspective on things, which it was a clash there. But other than that exception, I feel like the story itself is quite well embedded in the area it's supposed to represent, and I definitely can appreciate that. I don't know how good of a job the movie makes in terms of outfits and stuff, because I'm no expert. And sometimes I feel the costumes are very period appropriate, and then I watch a YouTube video and an expert explains how everything's wrong. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
I sometimes feel, though, I mean, I think we've had this talk before about the fact that bright colours were actually around a lot, and it was the darker colours that were popular, but then they don't want to use dark colours in a period drama because it would just make it all gloomy. It's not going to work with their lighting. So I kind of feel like as long as the style is appropriate, I think you can let go of the colours and things a bit, because they've got to work with what's going to look good visually.
No. The colors are the list of my concerns. It's all the other things that don't make sense, like the shape of the dresses and placement of different things on the body and hairstyles and things like that, which are over the top. Because you can use whatever color you want in a 20s movie or book, but if they're not below the knee, then you have a problem. If they're like miniskirts with some frills, you have a huge issue. Because that's not period appropriate. You want to make it bright red, fine, that's fine. Also in the 20s, they had all the colors they wanted. But that's my take on it. Colors and lighting, those are important in making a movie. Everything else, it can be period appropriate. It can. It's fine. But I think it's the same thing that happens with musicians as well. They save on the weirdest things, like they don't hire the proper consultants, and when they have musicians to portray, they just use extras, and it looks absolutely ridiculous because they just can't pay a musician to just sing there. Play, not sing. Well, sing too. That would help. We've all heard some really bad singing in TV and movie. So and it was interesting to see Amsterdam from that perspective, because I've been to Amsterdam a couple of times, and it's that feeling that you recognize things, but they look so completely foreign at the same time, and I love that. And yeah, that's. Are we already on conclusions? What's wrong?
I think we are.
Wow, we were efficient today, people. Please appreciate it. I just think we should appreciate it as well. Okay, this is how you can tell hasn't been outside yet. Because we usually go out at around 9, and this was like in the middle, and I said, can wait half an hour, it's fine. Fine. Okay, so yeah, conclusions about this book. I'll let you talk about it first today. Ramble so much today. I feel like I was worse than usual.
So conclusions. I think it's a good piece of historical fiction. As we've said, I like the mystery element, and I like the realistic portrayal of some of these themes and ideas that didn't seem to clash with the era it's setting. The only couple of things I didn't enjoy as much were being a little bit too open-ended on some of the questions I had at the end. And also, I kind of wanted a nicer ending for Johannes, because he was actually my favourite character, and I wanted to know him a bit better than we got to without having his POV. But definitely as an example of historical fiction, I think this is a good piece. It's atmospheric and it comes across really well.
Yep, it does. Just a second. I just saw a comment on my announcement, and someone was saying we have no live comments, and I just had to reply to say there work on my end. I always check on YouTube, but I would like to say that sometimes YouTube just won't show the live chat window. Usually a refresh solves that, not always though. It happens. It's nothing you can control, unfortunately. And if there was anyone else in the chat who couldn't see the comments, I'm sorry. We're doing our best, but we're still at the hand of technology. So yeah, I kind of agree with you there. It's hard for me to judge the openness of certain things because I've seen the movie, but knowing what they left out. I've already said some of the things I understand why they needed to explain them, sort of, and others, I mean, kind of help, but not really. I don't know. And this, for me, it all revolves around the miniaturist and their identity. I'm not sure that really helped the story. I don't know. I'm not sure. So I won't say one way or the other, but the others, yeah. I mean, it could have done a lot more with the double POV, I think. That would have solved a lot of issues. It's like keep Nella and her POV because it's charming and endearing and very interesting to see how she evolves from the point she arrives until the end of the book and her journey to accepting certain things. And then have a second POV. That would have helped a lot, I think. But for a debut novel that's historical fiction and a mystery, I think this was a great story to explore. Great start. I hope there's more in the future.
Yeah, I've read one of her other books. It's on my shelf behind me, I think.
Oh,
yes, The Confession. The Confession by Jesse Burton, which is completely different from The Miniaturist. It's a contemporary story. It's more about a relationships than it is a mystery per se. And I didn't dislike it, but I didn't think it had the magic. In some ways, the writing definitely feels more mature. I think she's definitely grown in terms of the writing, but I didn't find the story as captivating and endearing as The Miniaturist. So I'm interested to see where she'll go next.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. So this is one of the risks you take when you genre hop. You will grow with every book you write. That's a fact. You get better at it. It's a craft that you can practice, and sure, there's some storytelling talent involved, but it's mostly about honing your craft. But I feel like if you genre hop too much, you might not get to the bottom of that genre, maybe. Now it depends. It depends on what you read and what your interests are, and it can have absolutely no impact. But I will definitely say it makes things a lot more difficult from a marketing perspective, from growing an audience. So if you want to genre hop, do so by all means, but maybe, just maybe, get a few books in one genre first, preferably the same series, not several series with book ones out there. I know this from a friend. But if you're into historical fiction, I definitely recommend this book. I enjoyed it a lot more than I enjoy a lot of historicals, mainly because they are not that great at staying in their era. And they have commentary that doesn't fit. That's what it boils down to, or reactions that don't fit the era. And it's not the outliers, as is the case for the Miniaturist. It's the majority of reaction that doesn't fit the era, which I find very, I don't know, it just pulls me out of the story.
Yeah.
Because it just, you feel it's not part of whatever you're reading. It's from the outside. So yeah, totally recommend this book. Okay, let's talk about our future streams. We're going to be back next month on Nicki's channel with a genre talk stream. This time a pure one, not a read along. And then in May, we'll be back with a read along. I can't say whether we decided on the book or not. Like I said, I've been out of everything lately.
No, we hadn't done yet. I think we were looking at possibly a mystery, but we haven't absolutely decided.
Yeah.
So we will announce it as soon as we can.
Let's call people out now, because I'm going to call you out, Claire. And then after the stream is over, I'm going to message her and tell her I called her out. So the reason we're not decided is that because in May we were going to do mysteries. And for mysteries, we wanted to go with Claire's first book in the Charlie Davis mystery series. The problem with that is Claire is currently rewriting that book. And she plans on re-releasing it. And we're going to wait for her to get it done. I think it should be done by the end of April. So we're either doing a mystery in May, or if Claire takes forever to rewrite the book, we'll probably do something else and postpone the mystery read along, because we're nice like that. And we want to talk about Claire's book because it's funny. And I've already read it in its original version. Obviously, I've read the entire series, and I'm trying to convert Nicki as well. That's the plan anyway. So
I do, looking at our chart, we did have potentially manga graphic novel in July, so we might be able to swap the two around.
Yeah, that would work. Once we decide. I think that's even harder to decide on a manga than it is on a mystery. So Claire, please finish that.
Oh, we should say, I'm looking at our little chart I've just pulled up in front of me. Our genre talk for the April was going to be an author interview thing. So if you have any questions, people, pop them in a comment on this video, or send them to us on our Twitters. I'm at Nicki J Markus, and Olina will tell you hers in a second. So send them through.
Hi, Claire. We've called you out a lot. So yeah, we were doing another interview. That's what we're doing. We were taking all your questions. They can be about writing genre fiction, marketing genre fiction, publishing genre fiction, dealing with multiple genres at the same time, and all that. I will create a separate video and start a thread on Facebook and try to amass as many questions as we can. And because I've been away for so long, if the videos are not visible enough, it's fine, because we have plenty of questions to ask each other. and a lot of experiences to share. So should be fun. Claire, you're laughing now, but when I start pressing you every week about what's the progress on the book, you won't be laughing as much. So yeah, but either way, we're trying to accommodate your slow book pace. It's fine. We'll do manga if we have to.
We should just do Black Butler, because then we can just talk about Sebastian for an hour.
I mean, I would like to do something else with my Sunday, so maybe that's not a great idea. I would say Clanat, but that's a visual novel, so it doesn't work, because I would like to rant about all the other options that were better for the main character for forever, because it's not enough to just rant to my boyfriend and have it show up in every cozy mystery I write. But maybe we should decide on something that we never read and we can both access. And it's out of our...
We'll have a talk. I'm about to start 10 Count, which is an LGBT manga.
Okay.
I've got the books coming in the mail. They should come this week or next week. So that might work. We'll have a look. We'll let you know anyway, people. We'll
try to decide. So the problem is, like, the reason I would like for us to go with an ebook at first that's widely available, it's because this is supposed to be a read-along. And I'm not sure how deliveries are going to work over the next few months. Because everything is being shut down and toned down, at least. So we'll see. Maybe Claire gets so excited about having a good reason not to get out of the house.
Well, she could be in quarantine. We just need to put Claire in quarantine for 2 weeks with nothing to do but write.
She's always in quarantine. She refuses to leave her house anyway. So I hope she feels so happy that she has a valid reason to stay inside and avoid going outside at all costs, that she finishes the book. And we can read it again for me, first time for Nicki, and discuss it and convert you all to become Charlie Davis fans. Because that's great. That works. Okay, so yeah, that's the plan. Do ask us anything you want here. My socials are all in the description down below. I'm just waiting for the comment to show up in StreamYard so that I can put it on screen, because I think this is the best way to end this with that comment on screen. But yeah. It's being lazy.
Yeah, I can only see the little smile, the little laughy face at the moment.
Yeah, no, her comment is, I'm pretty pumped to stay inside. So there we go.
Here we go.
On screen, and we'll keep it on screen as we say our goodbyes, because people stay inside and wash your hands. That's all we can say. And if you need books to stay inside, check out mine in the description. I've just released a new Owl Investigation Mystery last month, at the end of last month, on February 28th. There's a link to Nicki's channel in the description. Go subscribe and watch her videos. She's just released one that I was watching today before the stream, which is about female protagonists, and I thought it was awesome. And then check out her books. And if you want a head start on the Charlie Davis mysteries, head to clairecounter.com and check them out, because I want someone else to cry with me because Claire is being too slow. I would like to point out she has like 3 ongoing series right now, and she's late releasing books on 2 of them. So yes, there's a lot of suffering in your future, and I'm so generous. I want to share that with you. So yeah, thank you for being here, and we'll see you next month on Nicki's channel. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.